joy to have around. Trey never gave me any problems. He was pleasurable. He was respectable. I always knew that God had gifted him and that there was a special anointing on him. And he was just wonderful to have around. Oh my God. Watching basketball games. That's all he used to do growing up, watch basketball games. He was a lover and admired Michael Jordan. But you know what? I wasn't even involved in this process. Trey went out on his own and he did this himself. He was passionate about playing. The fire was there. He wanted to do it. So before I knew it, he was already in. So I came in towards the end. So I'm very proud of him that he got up and was motivated to get himself back in school and be where he's supposed to be. God, when I think of God's goodness and all that he's done for me, I'm telling you, my soul is just thankful. I can't be thankful enough for what God has done for Trey, where he's brought Trey from. It's a blessing to be Trey's mother. Yes, there was. When I saw him put it to the side, you know, I was really disappointed. But like I said, before I knew it, he picked it back up and he ran with it. So thus far, let's see. It's so much. I mean, he started when he was so little. Coming here and seeing him play his heart out, you know, and just I feel so, like I said, blessed to know that he did this. You know, God brought him this far, and he didn't leave him nor forsake him. So what I saw today, I'm just
Trey is a fun-loving, energetic kid that just loves people and loves basketball. He's always been like that. He was a student on the sit him in front of the TV with me, even at like 4 years old. He'd sit and watch the entire game with me and understand it. So he's been a student of the game his whole life. I came here with him the first practice he came down here, and the campus was nice. His coaching staff seemed real friendly and seemed like they really were interested in not just Trey as a basketball player, but more as a student athlete, and that impressed me. So I was all in on him making the decision to come down here and play basketball. And that's why, you know, that's the thrill for me. I mean, this is a kid that they told he would never be able to play. And to see him playing on this level and playing the way he does with the energy and love he has, it's just a blessing to watch. That's why I'm here, and that's why I enjoy following his career thus far. Whatever Trey decides to do, what I stress to him is education first, so whatever he decides to do beyond the education part of it, he got my total support with. So I just hope for the best for him.
Trey has been blessed with some unbelievable athletic abilities since 8th grade. Really, I had the opportunity to witness his athleticism for 2 years, coached him on my AAU team, the TNA Sharks in Milwaukee. Trey was the starting guard for the Sharks. He was the team captain, team leader, and he did his job well. It's because he's so gifted, it's sort of easy. It may look easy, but he does put in some work, and he has a lot more work to put in if he wants to take it to that next level. Never his ability, but his own inner confidence, you know, that had to come out. And I think playing in the AAU allowed that to come out to where he's blossoming now as a ball player. The most memorable moment, I remember in the AAU tournament, Trey went baseline and did a reverse 360 dunk over 2 defenders. One was 6'8", and the other was 6'5".
I coached Trey at Nicolay during his JV year as well as his varsity year. Trey's always had explosive hops. As far as I've known, he's been able to leap out of the gym since 9th grade. At Nicolay, he was actually forced to play out of his natural position. I view Trey as a 1-2 guard. He actually had to play the 4 position, which he had no problems with doing. He did so. he did so, and he contributed greatly to that squad. In AAU, Trey actually was able to play his 1-2 position. He played so greatly. In addition to that, Trey was also an outstanding defensive player. All around, Trey is a great guy, a great team player, and a great leader.
Back when Trey was in high school, it was quite obvious that he had a lot of natural athletic ability. He had good quickness. But I think the thing that probably jumped out the most was his natural leaping ability. Just was really able to sky to the basket on a number of occasions. And probably one of the things that impressed me the most, as much as any player that I had in my 20 years at Nicolet, was his ability to be a second jumper. So when he would get the ball inside and say he missed a shot, to be able to just sprint right back up and get the offensive rebound and put it back in before the kid next to him even had a chance to really get off the floor. Like I say, is probably one of the best that I've had in all that time. By the time that Trey was a senior on the varsity team, he played a very substantial role. He wasn't the primary scorer, but he was definitely a guy that we looked to contribute to score, whether it be slashing to the basket, getting the offensive rebound, or by that time he had really worked on his three-point shot and was hitting that with consistency as well. And then on the defensive end, just basically locking his man down. He was a very good team defensive player. And probably even more so, just the thing that I remember about him playing was just his passion to play and just being very, very unselfish. And he'd be one of those kind of guys that you would love to have as a teammate, just because he was always, there for you as a teammate, whether it be on the offense or defensive end, or even just, pushing you in practice to be the best player that you could be. And he's just one of those kind of guys that you would really enjoy to have as your teammate. Trey was a very hard worker throughout his high school career. In fact, I don't ever remember a time in practice where I really had to get on him for not pushing himself and maximizing his potential. He showed up every day with that attitude to just really work hard and push himself, push his teammates. And you could just really tell that he enjoyed playing the game, and he didn't take it for granted. And so I think he was just one of those guys that just was there to work as hard as he could and really look to improve on a daily basis. And I think he did.
Overall, he older than everybody, so he bring that leadership to a certain extent. He try to be the best teammate as possible. Overall, he a good person to be around. He a great teammate. I have nothing bad to say. I can't say anything bad about him. No, not at all. Like everybody has that drought they go through. They have a hard time playing, but overall, I tell him just keep playing. He does that, and he's been playing well this lately. His defense really starts him. He's really athletic, so he helps the team in a big part.
We had a kid a couple years ago who played for us named Johnny Payton out of Milwaukee, and I guess Trey ran into Johnny, and Johnny said, give these guys a call. And so Trey came down on a visit, and he called Tarnell, and we went from there.
And what was?
Well, he actually said to us that we had to sell his aunt on the school and so forth. So his aunt came down on a visit, and she's a college professor, and so that was the big thing, was the academic part. And me being a high school teacher, I'm about academics as well. And so that's really all I did, was be myself and talk about how important academics are to me. And his aunt really loved the campus, and Trey liked it, and we had him. No, I mean, he had to chip off some of that rust because he hadn't played in so many years of competitive basketball, and so it was just about getting that rust off and so forth. And he's such a good kid and a nice kid that sometimes he doesn't have that toughness side. And so when he decides to actually become a different person on the court and be a little bit meaner and tougher, he could be a really special.
About life growing up in Milwaukee.
Growing up in Milwaukee, it helped mold me as a person. Wasn't pretty much the safest place to grow up, but I just knew wrong from right, and it helped me become a good person.
And obviously, I've asked you this before, but for the sake of this interview, what do you believe is the solution to the violence that's plagued the city of Milwaukee?
I believe getting the youth to do more, and give them some activities to do, and keep them off the streets, and help lead them in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, you grew up with quite a bit of brothers and sisters. How did that help, kind of have that circle around you to, kind of make sure you didn't get in trouble or do anything bad? How'd that help to have that circle?
growing up, like my older siblings, like they always was on top of me. Like they didn't want me to go in the wrong direction, and I want the best for my younger siblings. So I try to lead by example and let them know that it's okay to do right.
And how did growing up in an area like that kind of mold you into the person and player you are today?
Well, basketball-wise, it's a lot of competition in Milwaukee, so you come out there, you got to be ready to play. So I was always on top of my game when it comes to the basketball. But Milwaukee, as far as just me as a person, is just the culture around the city. Like it helped mold me into the person I am. Like I know, like I grew up in the streets and I grew up in the suburbs, so I know the both of it, and I know how to manage that.
May 23rd, 2009, tragedy struck as one of your closest friends, Brian Webb, also known as BJ, as you guys would call him, was killed in a car accident. Who informed you of his passing? Who told you about it?
I woke up in the morning and I had a bunch of texts and missed calls. And the first text I looked at was my cousin Janaea, and she told me to call her as soon as I woke up. And I called her and she was like, "Yeah, BJ died last night." I thought it was like my other cousin BJ, but really it was one of my close friends. So once I found that out, I just dropped down in tears. It hurt.
And you mentioned that you were friends with him, but really, how close were you with BJ? Were you friends with him on the field, off the field? Like, did you play sports with each other? Describe that relationship.
No, we grew up around, like we had mutual friends. My best friend, Shaquille Lee, that's his cousin. And so we grew up together since we was around like 3. So we were always around each other growing up. And Shaquille's family pretty much just treated me like family. So shout out to the Lee family and the Thomas family as well.
And now moving over to the athletic side of things, obviously, when did you develop that passion for the game of basketball? What age was that?
I'll probably say 2. My father, Sean, he always had me watching basketball with him. He always taught me things about it. And that was pretty much the Michael Jordan eras too, so everybody loved Michael Jordan. So.
And when did you really start playing competitive basketball? Obviously you played street ball, I played with friends outside, but when did you actually start getting into competitive style games?
I started playing competitive basketball, I'd probably say when I was around 5. I started playing in like little leagues like that, and then eventually went into AAU and started just getting serious. I'd probably say I started at AAU 7th grade year. I couldn't start early because of my injuries, but I made it through.
And exactly like you mentioned, your injuries, from what I understand, turned out to meniscus, a little bit of ankle problems. Take me through those injuries. I mean, those injuries are very severe, and obviously people with those injuries usually don't end up playing basketball again. So how blessed are you to even be here at ECC playing the game of basketball?
Very, very blessed. I've had 6 surgeries. I've had 1 head, right here on my head. I had a meniscus surgery, 3 hip surgeries. I had a bone disease growing up as a child. And then I had surgery on my foot. I had broke my foot. And so I never had a bad attitude. I always stayed positive. I believe in law of attraction. And I never thought negative about anything. I just kept a positive mind. I knew I'd be back playing. It's just had to stick to it and work.
And you continued playing basketball throughout your high school career at Nicollet in Glendale, Wisconsin. What was that high school experience like for you?
Wonderful. I love Nicollet. It was different for me. I was at public schools at first, and to go to a suburb school, it was a great experience. I learned a lot and met a lot of new people, met some great teachers, and my teammates. I miss my teammates.
Mm-hmm. And obviously high school ball, pretty special moment for any athlete. What was your most memorable moment as a Nicollet night?
I would have to say I hit the game winner against South Division high school to play at the Al McGuire Center. That was in the playoffs. It meant a lot to me. I had a bad game that day. I don't think I scored, but that last shot I hit it, and that was probably my most memorable moment as far as basketball in high school.
Kind of after Nicollet, basketball kind of just fell to the wayside. You weren't playing competitively as much. 4 years passed here at ECC. Could you just kind of take us through those 4 years without basketball? I mean, what were you doing through that time?
My first year, I was still playing. I was going to try to walk on for UW Milwaukee, but it didn't end up working out that way. And just so happened I ended up breaking my foot. So even if I wanted to play, I still wasn't able to play. My second year out of high school, I tore my meniscus, so I still couldn't play. I tried played summer league with MATC, and after that, I ended up just stopped playing basketball, and I opened up my own shoe store in Milwaukee called Board and Pass, but things didn't work out as well, so I ended up going back to my first love, which is basketball.
Mm-hmm. And you know, like I said, let's flash forward. 2014, this past summer, you decided to continue your basketball career at ECC. How did you find out about ECC? Who told you about this?
My cousin Josh, he's very close friends with a member that used to play for ECC, and his name's Johnny. He told him, like, tell Trey to give him a call, and I'm pretty sure they would love to have him. So I reached out to Reed and Tarnell, and they told me to come out and played in a couple open gyms. Obviously, they wanted me to join the team, so I came out here. I was excited because just to get outside of Milwaukee and experience something different.
People seem to enjoy coming to Spartans game. Partial reason involves you. I'm pretty sure you know why. You've done quite a bit. You know, what's your most memorable dunk so far this season?
This season, I would probably say the 360.
What's one dunk you've always wanted to do in a game?
I'll probably say I always wanted to do a 360, but I obviously accomplished that this past year. So I'll probably say like a reverse windmill. I would love to do that in the game. I think that'll get my teammates as well as the crowd like pumped up.
So you know, you mentioned before one of your favorite players, Paul George. He did that before in the game too. So you know, after ECC, what's next for Tre Kinlow? I mean, what are your plans? I mean, you're 22. Your dream, obviously, NBA. I mean, that's still available. Don't shoot that dream down. But what's next for Trey?
Honestly, I'm not even thinking about the NBA. Like, I mean, it'll be a dream come true. Right. But I mean, truthfully, I just want to go get my education and play for another college, and hopefully after that, I can go overseas and play professional ball somewhere.
Well, it's been a pleasure. Thanks, Trey.
Appreciate it.
Good luck to you in your college endeavors, and I hope you have a successful year.
Hey Trey, Coach Up here. Just wanted to say congrats on having some good success this year. It's great to be able to follow you playing in your basketball career once again. And I definitely have a lot of fond memories from your high school days. Not just you as a player, which there are obviously several, but even more so as you as a person and just the quality individual that you are and the high character that you always have exhibited. And I really do appreciate the times that I've ran into wherever out and about since your high school days, that whatever you are doing at the moment, you stop and come over and say hello to me and see how the team is doing and all those kind of things. So I've always really been appreciative of that. And again, I just think that speaks volume of who you are as a person. So good luck the rest of this season, and take care, and good luck in the future.
Yeah. This is paradise. They ain't near as nice. If left, cause they ain't do it right. I still dream big, in case you haters asking. And no one helped me on this road. I had to make this happen. Never got attention when a